And this is another tea for the week. Woo! And this one, I'm about to spill. I'm about to really spill. Like, I don't think I've spilt like this for a tea for the week before, but we gonna spill for this tea for the week.
Hi, my love. So this one's from the Tea for the Week archives, and this is a Mirror Moment Tea for the Week. And this is maybe older Tea for the Weeks that never got posted, but are still very helpful and relevant to what someone may be going through. And yeah, so let's get to it.
Hi y'all, it's your girl Kristen Christiana back again with another tea for the week. And hold up. Let's get this sweater situation together. Oh my gosh, y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all, I had a mirror moment. I had put that in my face. Here, see everything about you, boo. The good, the bad, the ugly, the real truth. I had a mirror moment, and I cannot wait to share this because y'all, this is gonna bless somebody's life. I know it. Because we about to get real transparent and real, and we're gonna talk about some stuff that really hits in the feels. We got to get into it. So before I do, you know what I'm gonna say, and if you don't, well, I'm gonna say it anyway. If you like it and you love it and you want more of it, this kind of content, don't forget to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification bell so you know when your girl's back on. Tea for the week, I really had this like aha epiphany, bless your life kind of moment. And I was like, oh my goodness, I've got to share. So it is kind of like a pop on and dish it out. I actually have my tea this time. Hey, there's that. So basically, I wanted to kind of really go into this mirror moment that I had. What a mirror moment is, okay, guys, I probably will have more like I'm not gonna make this like a segment for the tea for the week, but I'll probably bring this up as like a subject matter for tea for the weeks. So a mirror moment is basically when someone holds the mirror up and allows me to see myself and as I show up. So because and I often say this, I'm like, you guys, I haven't mastered this. I'm just saying stuff that I'm picking up along the way and learning. I mean, it's a journey. It's something that I'm constantly doing. Yeah, it doesn't end. It's like an ongoing thing. So to get a little transparent. This particular mirror moment came as I was having conversation. I was hanging out with my family for the holidays, and I was having a conversation. It was a really insightful conversation because I come from a big family, like a big immediate family, brothers, and I'm actually the only girl. So lots of brothers, the only girl. And we were having this kind of like, because we're very close knit in the sense of we're very localized to the same area, and we see each other often, almost daily. And basically it was brought up to me that just how we grew up, we were just going through stories about our personalities, how we grew up, our weaknesses, our strengths, certain mindsets that we have, why we may have that mindset, and just certain habits that we have, good, bad, ugly, what may it be. So and it's something that I hear my brother say about me often. It's so funny because it's like my brother's experience of me is different from like my god sisters, my friends, and other people who are close to me, their experience of me. And I'll clarify this too, as well. Because I often say that sometimes when you start working on yourself and you start working on your healing and you start working on your mission, and I had to learn, and I'll go into more depth about this in another tea for the week. I had to learn how to let go of lone wolfism. Because lone wolfism, it can either ostracize you, make you toxic, or like, and I feel like one trait will take over. Like, it doesn't mean to make the others devoid, but one kind of takes precedence over the other. So you'll either be if you if you practice lone wolfism, it'll either ostracize you, make you kind of self-centered or selfish, or you can come off that way very easy to others. I won't say that you are that way, but you can often come off that way to others. You, I mean, those are the two main. Um, and then the other one would be distrusting, and you have this thing of this way of pushing others away. And that kind of it's a little different from being ostracized, because ostracized could just be simply that you just don't bother to come out your shell. You don't bother to, and then we'll go into that in a little more detail. And then you've got the selfish traits, where it's kind of like you become every. It's not that you are like you don't think about anybody else, but it's for the most part that you become more self-serving. And it's not bad to be self-serving. Let me make that, it's actually pretty healthy to be self-serving, but there's a healthy way to do it and there's a non-healthy way to do it. Other one, as well as you tend to push people away, and you become kind of like aggressive in the way that you push people away. Those are kind of like some very common traits in lone wolfism. Other one, as well as you tend to push people away, and you become kind of like aggressive in the way that you push people away. Those are kind of like some very common traits in lone wolfism, and we'll go into that in another TFW week. I would say I have bouts where I can come off as being more self-serving, especially when, and I'm going to go into detail about this, because sometimes people can interpret it as being selfish because it doesn't serve them. And it's like, because you're prioritizing, and there's moments where you have to prioritize yourself, and some people may not agree with the way you prioritize yourself. Might be because they want you to show up for them a certain way, and it's not bad for you to show up for other people a certain way, but there's moments in time where it may be that you're more self-centered or more self-focused than being outward focused. And that may be because it's that season for you to focus on you. And there's a healthy way to do it. And I'm still mastering that. So we'll save that part for another tea for the week. That bit of, there's a two-side coin to that. Some people will say you're being selfish, and you don't really consider others and stuff like that. And that's because they may expect for you to be at level 10 of giving. And but they also may not see that because it's time for you to pour into yourself, you don't have the capacity to give at level 10. And because you're in the season of replenishment and not overflow. And not everybody understands that. Not everybody understands that. And sometimes when it's hard, when they're not escaping from self, they can only say their experience of where you're at that moment. And this is just a matter of fact. I'm not saying one is good, one is better than the other. I'm not saying that there's a way to find balance in it. Have I mastered it yet? Not 100%, no. And I feel like it's gonna be a lifetime of trying to master that, of being able to balance giving but yet pouring into yourself all at the same time, but making sure that you don't overgive, and then you're not spending too much time over pouring into yourself that you're not giving anything. So it was brought to my attention, and I think a lot of it is also because I was in my season of replenishment, and I didn't have a cup to pour from for a while. And for them, they're like, you're being selfish, because I had to take that time to pour into me. And when you don't have a lot to give, and you don't want to ever give from a place of lack, because it doesn't serve anyone for you to starve yourself to death to feed others. At the end of the day, you helped someone, but you also caused a scar because you didn't serve yourself. You're just the value that you bring is just as important as you giving them, meeting their needs, if that makes sense. Or certain needs that you're able to meet, because they have a certain level of responsibility for their own selves. So it was brought to my attention, and then at the moment it was interesting, because it's like, when because I was so heavy in the season of pouring into myself. And I may have done it to an excess. I'm not, I'll call myself out. I may have been pouring a little too much into myself and not pouring enough out. But then again, it was because I was healing from that place of lack. Like, I'm like, when you come from being pouring so much of you and you're coming and you feel like you're empty and you're trying to make up, you can kind of overgorge. And I may have been doing that. And they say your eyes are bigger than your stomach. I could have been like overgorging, as in like, let me not be in lack again. Let me keep pouring into me. And I could see how that could have triggered, oh, that's a selfish act. You can see how when someone expects you to give at this level and you're only giving at this level, whether it's because that's at your capacity or that's just what you choose to do. How, I mean, if that's what you're choosing to do, it would probably justify someone saying you're selfish a little bit more. But if that's just your capacity and they're not understanding that that's their capacity of where you're at, then it's kind of like there's this one story in the Bible where they say, where basically God is like, or Jesus is like, this woman gave more than the rest because she gave her last. I think it was oil, and she gave her last, whereas others were giving pots and pots, but it wasn't nowhere close to her last. It wasn't even close to a quarter. So it was like she gave the most because she gave what she had to give, and that's all she had to give, versus someone who had more to give. They may have given more than her, but the value of it wasn't quite the same value as hers. So it's like when someone doesn't understand that you're at a certain place and that is your cap, then they can misread it. And it's not 100% your responsibility to explain that to them, because that's either something they're going to accept or not. And that's a place where that is the way to heal that, is to have that open, engaging conversation with that person, if that's an important relationship, so that they understand, like, I'm giving what I know, I'm giving what I can, because I'm here emotionally, mentally, physically. This is where I'm at. They may accept it, they may not. They may agree or disagree. At that point, you've done what you could, you communicate what you could. But it is going to be your responsibility, even if that's where you're at, to continue to grow and better yourself so that you can give more from a place of abundance. That would be your responsibility. And then it would be upon that other person, it would be a great responsibility to take on, to be from an understanding place of understanding where this person is, or where you are, if you're the one explaining that I'm not trying to pour from an empty cup and I feel pretty empty. They brought it to my attention of their experience of me, and they're like, we perceive you to want to give here, and we only feel like you're giving here. And it doesn't devalue, it doesn't make it their opinion right, it doesn't make it completely wrong, it doesn't mean it's just their experience. I can't tell them that their experience is wrong. I can't tell them that their truth is wrong. But what I can say and what I can do is I can do my best to explain, to bridge that gap, so there's understanding there, so that we perceive you to want to give here, and we only feel like you're giving here. And it doesn't devalue, it doesn't make it their opinion right, it doesn't make it completely wrong, it doesn't mean it's just their experience. I can't tell them that their experience is wrong. I can't tell them that their truth is wrong. But what I can say and what I can do is I can do my best to explain, to bridge that gap, so there's understanding there, so that there is, first of all, so with understanding or overstanding, there comes healing. So with that, bridging that gap so that the healing can be there and that intimacy can be created, so they can see into what was going on with you, and vice versa. So they can see into what was going on with you, and vice versa. It's like when it was brought to my attention that this is someone's experience of me, I really felt in my heart of hearts that I did not want to change it. It was like, I understand how you experience me. I'm not negating that's how you experience me. But I didn't feel the desire to change it for that person. This is the transparent moment. I'm not saying I was correct in that. in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not going to say that I was 100% wrong in that in any way, shape, or form. But what I did take responsibility for was to evaluate, why didn't I want to change it? When someone's clearly saying, this is my experience of you, and it's not the most positive experience, I thought about that. In that moment, I won't say I couldn't receive, because I understood, I got it, and I took it as, okay, noted. But I didn't have the desire to change. And I wanted to know where that came from, because it allowed me to look into myself. And it was like, why don't I want to change? And that made me see a place that I need healing in. Because I had to go deeper and explore why that emotion, why that feeling or lack thereof was there. So after doing some exploring, after having another conversation with a different scenario with a friend of mine, I was able to have my mirror moment, and I'm getting there. But before I get into what my mirror moment was, I want to kind of go into, once I explored that emotion, kind of where I was coming from in that time. So when I explored that emotion, I realized, or like I said, or that desire to not want to change when someone's saying, hey, this is how I experience you. And it seemed like it was coming from a place like, I want to have a better experience of you, but so far this is what I'm getting. Or it would be nice to have a better experience of you, but this is the experience I have thus far. And I want to understand where that feeling of, I understand that, but I don't know if I can give it the level of care that you would like it to have. And I feel like that was the mindset of not wanting to lose myself to someone else's desires. A lot of us may do this. So listen to me good. This is that part that may bless your life, right? Especially when you're someone, as I said earlier, who is known to be the giver, who is known to overexert yourself to give, or who is known to feel like you gave so much and you left nothing for you. And then there is actually, they talk about, it's good to not force children to share, because when you do force children to share, that makes them more selfish. It's like an adult version. It's like taking that childhood connection, that psychology, but growing that person up, not changing those traits, and putting it in like an adult bottled version of it. And I may not be doing it in a way that's healthy for everyone around me, or it provides the best experience for everyone around me. Now, is it 100% my responsibility to provide the best experience for everyone around me? No, not really. It's not. But if there's something that does not hurt me, that does not put me at a huge disadvantage, then it wouldn't be bad to improve the experience of those around me. And I know that sounds selfish, but what I'm getting at is saying, like, if it doesn't hurt you or kill you, and it doesn't take you off your path, take you off your growth, take you off of your learning, because there's still a certain part of you that has to be in community, and in service with others. You deserve your best version, to be your best version of self, and you deserve to give yourself the best of whatever life has to offer. But that doesn't mean that you have to crash and burn everyone around you to get there. Not that I was displaying toxic behaviors like that. So in this particular case, I heard that, and I was like, when I realized that it was like, maybe there was something that triggered that I need to focus so much on me, or something that triggered this feeling of there's not enough space for anyone else, because I'm so consumed with the goal or the version of me that I want to be better. And I was like, that's a place to grow in. Now, granted, in that moment, I was like, I don't know if I'm ready to grow in that area. See, part of healing is also being honest with yourself, okay? I'll admit, I wasn't ready to grow in the area. I wasn't ready to address it. I'm like, I really am enjoying the season of me and don't want to be interrupted in the season of me. But after having a conversation about, because one thing I learned in a wonderful program that I've done is that what you do one place, you'll do any place, or what you do in one area, you do in every area. How you show up here is how you show up everywhere. So you have to realize that if something takes place in one area of your life, look and see where the pattern and the crumbs fall in other places of your life. And I started to kind of evaluate another relationship and I was like, I'm starting to see the crumbs of this particular habit affect this relationship too. Again, it's not toxic. A moment I developed this focus on me because it served at the time. And then I realized it's in that moment when I had another conversation as I'm evaluating another relationship that's being affected by but a similar thing, like even by a little bit, it wasn't affected hugely by this whole I'm focusing on me, but I saw that it's being impacted still. And the impact that it's getting, it's not in my favor. So then I realized, okay, so this may be a season to change. And this may be an area that I need to change this particular behavior. I developed a behavior because in a season, at another season, at another time, in another place, it served me. But now it's time to shift. It's time to remold, grow, and become better. And the mirror moment that I had was this. I wrote it down. I lost being in service. I lost how being in service to others is also being in service to me. Yeah, I'm having a real moment with y'all. I'm laying it raw, because I know somebody else can relate. So, and what I mean by that, being in service to others. And that doesn't mean doing it with balance, because balance is important. So it doesn't mean that I have to take away from me. It means that now I'm at a place where I've poured into me. Now I can open the doors to and allow myself to serve again, because I'm not from a place. I've poured enough into me that now I have an overgrowth, so to speak. I have abundance. And now, because I have a bit of abundance, I don't have to just jump completely out there and give it all away and give the parts that I poured into myself away and become an empty cup again. No, I don't have to do that. I get to relearn, or I get to learn to better be skilled in this one particular trait, which is to keep pouring into myself, but be willing to share the abundance and the excess with others. And with that, I mean this. It may be some days now, because I took that season to pour into me and be about me, be about my growth, be about my health, be about my mental stability, be about my emotional stability, all that thereof that is included. But now that I've had the time to pour into me, and now that I've kind of reached, now I won't say my nirvana, but I've reached a really good place in a lot of those areas. Now I can share that with others by being in service. And it may be that maybe one day a week, maybe I have to take baby steps, maybe 15 minutes a day, that I can say, how can I serve you? Because now I have learned I've poured enough into me. I've balanced out when I need to pour into me. I've developed the habit and the understanding and the knowing of myself to know that, okay, when I'm feeling like I'm getting depleted in an area or when I'm running low, how to pour into myself, how to take that time for myself. And now I can bring in put something else on my plate, because the thing is, as human beings, we're meant to grow, we're meant to flourish, and we're meant to thrive, and we're meant to be forever evolving. evolving for our best. So now that I have a plate and my plate was smaller because I did the work, now my plate has grown. Now I can add something else into my plate. And now that something else is being service to others. And that doesn't mean that I have to starve in order to do that. It means that my plate has gotten bigger. I have room for that now. But now I'm responsible if I choose to be. If I'm choosing to evolve, grow, be better for myself and especially for those around me and create community around me, now I get to develop another skill and of being able to balance myself and pouring into others. And I can do it in moderation. I don't have to just jump into the water deep dive. I can stick my toe in, just get my feet wet for now and then. Get a feel for it, practice that, and then walk a little bit further. So that is the mirror moment that I had. And I am now implementing that slowly. Like it's slowly because I'm really learning the reins of staying in that healthy space for me. And now that I'm opening the invitation to be able to create healthy spaces in other areas as well too, and other relationships with others, um, I can move at a pace that still allows for me to grow, but doesn't overwhelm me. And that's exciting. It is exciting. It is going to take some work and it's going to take some learning, but I'm up for it. So there's that. And that's pretty much the tea for a week that I got. So yes, that I'm ending it there. And I will probably do a check-in on pretty much how I've kind of tweaked, how I've grown in this area, if I flopped, I flopped. If I thrived and flourished, then hey, I probably will do another tea for a week, a part 2 to it, so that way, as I learn, I share. So, hopefully I excel in it, and if I do fail, that's another opportunity to realize what went wrong, so I can grow and do better next time. So there's that. But we're gonna wrap it up here today. So thank you. Loved hanging out with you guys. Always remember, my kind of design your own kind of life, and never forget to dream. Love you guys. Until next time. Bye.